Hey everybody, welcome to Whiskey, Lead, and Steel, Feeling Short While You Wait, the official podcast of Aggressive Defensive Solutions. With me today, as always, Lee Curling, Jeremy Phillips. He's back from adventures with the Navy. Did you get the Chief of Naval Operations sorted out while you were on Mars?
I tried.
Yeah, one tries. And I'm Rick Sutton. Today we're shooting the podcast with a little bit of echo here at the shop for Arsenal Performance and Gunworks in Chesapeake, Virginia. If you have a gun and you want to make it better, these are the folks to bring it to and have it all sorted out and squared away. Today is Memorial Day. So whenever this shows up, shout out to all of those who paid the ultimate sacrifice so that we could continue to live in the greatest nation on the planet. Full stop, period. And anybody who thinks otherwise, it's fucking wrong. So we were struggling at what are we going to talk about? And for once, Lee Curling did not have an idea what we should talk about, which is odd because normally he's the idea guy.
Who's a governor's speechwriter around here?
Exactly. So here's what I'm going to throw out here. Shooting and shooting sports, especially action shooting sports, is a fairly small community, no matter where it is that you go. Gents, give me your thoughts on how the community could better support itself and better do things to advance the community. One of the things we were talking about is, so AgDef Sol runs the second Saturday series, right? And as we go through the year, we do different things at the end of the match. So we have the after party, as we call them. So we do the 2-gun after party, and then we do some training stuff. And I'll throw this one out there because we've talked about this ad nauseum. And if you're watching this, and this applies to you, fucking pay attention. If you want to shoot 2-gun matches or 3-gun matches to the point that you send us text, and you call us, and then you knock shit over. Amy, off site, laughing at us, going, "You people need to get your shit together and record something." Slam. Anyway, so if you want to come out and shoot in these matches, what should you do? What's the first thing you should do if you want to shoot in 2-gun or 3-gun matches?
Send me a text.
Don't send me a text. First thing you should do is go look on Practice Core and see when we have something scheduled.
All right.
That's the first thing.
All right.
The second thing is text Rick. No, don't text Rick because people constantly will text Rick going, "When are you going to do this?" And we'll schedule it. And then we quite often struggle with participation. So, but the first thing is go to Practice Core, check to see when we have it scheduled.
And then the second one is fucking show up. Jeremy, what are your thoughts? How could the action shooting sports community better support itself? And quite all joking aside, what are the things that people can do to get more of this going on?
So the one I keep coming back to is outreach. At the risk of the community writ large becoming an echo chamber of only hanging out with like-minded individuals and supporting each other, which is good. Support your sport, all that, all about that. I mean, we are too, from, everybody who makes our t-shirts and hats to, what have you. But outreach is a big part of it because, if you look at the hunting community, hunting numbers are dwindling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The only way you're going to grow that is by an outreach of some sort. Say what you will about the various scouting organizations and things like that, but our very own Adrian, running the Juneteenth shooting program there, where you come out and he's got the range set aside, he's got ammo for you to shoot, things like that. It is stepping outside of your comfort zone, introducing people to the sport, and just trying to, for lack of better terms, bring people over to our side. It's going to be things like that. So, we've had plenty of people, "Hey, can I bring spectators out to the second Saturday?" Things like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Come on down, come on out. Hey, you want to shoot? Bring in, we'll piece together gear for you to let you shoot around.
Yeah.
Things like that is going to be what we need to keep doing. And you see other organizations doing it. There's places that set up scholarship funds and things like that. But it is going to be showing people that we're not the crazy gun nuts that the media tries to make people out to be. That's what I think.
Yeah, the number of gun owners is back on the rise, right? That's those numbers are facts, right? That gun ownership is back on the rise in the United States, and it does seem to be different than during the Obama administration, where there was they're gonna take my guns. They're gonna take my guns, and so I'm gonna rush out and buy one of those scary black guns they're gonna take from us. And what we saw at that point was it's hard to find ammo. Those guns were in short supply because people were buying them, but nobody was shooting them.
Right.
And then 2 years later, people that had bought the gun, why do I have this gun? And then the secondary market was flooded with cheap AR-15s. There is the joke, right? The Democrats are the best, the best gun sellers out there, right?
And here we are in an election year.
And here we are in an election year. But it's not about making a political statement along those lines. But what we found with COVID
and the summer of love,
and the summer of love, right? There was a different scary time, and people bought not those big scary guns because anybody was going to take them away, but out of a genuine concern, right, for their safety, they went out and bought handguns.
Yeah. And
we found that they started practicing. So a number of people that come out to shoot that were first-time gun owners.
Yeah.
And I think I think the making those connections and embracing those that are not typical action shooters, like to come out to do the matches. Because let's face it, we have a match. We've been doing this match for years, and it's not a high stress, highly competitive match.
Nope.
Right? It's meant to stretch you, right? It's meant to put you into some situations you haven't done before. It's meant for you to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
It is really that is really the perfect demographic for the match, right? Because we're not in the you don't know what you're doing, get out of the way because I need to shoot because I'm trying to get to the next stage.
And our matches are as hard on you as you need them to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So I think, to your point, Jeremy, I think the best thing that the action sport community can do to help the action sport community is to embrace the non-traditional first time, or the gun owners that are, I bought a gun, maybe I'll go out to the range, or maybe I'll go out to Freedom. Because let's face it, we haven't had anybody come out and go, wow, you made me shoot offhanded. You made me shoot from the draw. You made me move. I don't do that on the static range at insert local gun range.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't ever want to do this again. No, most of the time it's like, oh, this is
That's
exactly.
great. That was cool. Yeah.
This is right. This is great. This is cool, right? So it may not be a high, huge round count, but it does put you into a different kind of a different mindset, a different, different one.
The corollary to all that I know we've struggled with is how to keep people engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, God, I would love to crack the code on is, people who have shot with us for years that, for whatever reason, family, job, money, what have you, drift away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think to a degree on that, and I was talking to a guy about this the other day that I was working with. So I think the typical arc that you see, and I think this goes with a lot of physical endeavors and high motor skill things that have come along is. So I think what happens is you'll get somebody who decides for whatever reason to get into guns. And one of the things that we've seen is I decided to get into guns for concealed carry to defend myself. And then I started training because I figured I needed some training. And then I came to the idea of, well, I can go to a shooting match and get some stress inoculation and do all that. And then it gets fun. And then as we start climbing up, you start getting good. And then you want to get better. And then there comes a point, and it's like this with everything or anything that is competitive. Because this guy was talking to me and he goes, well, how come you don't compete anymore? And I said, well, number one, I met all my competition goals. I won the police competition 2 years running. I had a great run. I had a bunch of cool stuff. I said, but I have other stuff that I've got to do. And I didn't want to be quasi-competitive, right? I wanted to step on the range. I wanted to win, which meant 2 5-hour training blocks every month with the shooting team where I shot 700 rounds. Mm-hmm. And then additionally, I shot a load out of my gun belt almost every day of the week. And there was a PT routine, and there was a running routine, and there were all of these things that went into it so that I spent easily 10 hours a week on average, 52 weeks a year for my, we'll call it 15 minutes worth of shooting in every match. And I shot typically two matches a month, right? But that's a lot of time. A huge time commitment to that. And I think what happens is, and I think this is where the guys drift off, I think they come in and they're okay. And they get good, and they get good, and they get good. And then they get to a point where they're good, and then it dawns on them the difference between where I am and the next level is 10 hours a week. And a lot of folks just don't have the 10 hours a week. That's why I would imagine, because I don't do this, but I would imagine that is the difference between the guy who runs 4 or 5Ks a year and somebody who runs 3 or 4 marathons a year.
Great governor.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're just going to do 4 or 5Ks this year, four of the local 5Ks for, charity. Yeah. You don't have to go out and run 7 miles every other day to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to run 2 marathons, that's the minimum you're going to have to do. It's my understanding. Because you run 7,500 miles a month or some silly shit like that.
No, but
I'm going to run to California tomorrow.
Dude, to your point, training for a marathon, right? Yeah. There is a formula. Yeah. Right, and it's a loose formula for how many miles you need to be putting in, how many of those need to be training to improve your speed and endurance, and how many of those are just the grueling miles you've got to put in, and how many what percentage of that during the week is a single long run versus your overall, right? Not much different. Yeah. But again, it's a sport, right? It's a different sport. So, but back, on the shooting sport thing, it's a sport, and I guess that becomes a question: is how do we help the shooting sport community even more? I don't know. Are there off-range methodologies to help the shooting community?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't know about the shooting community, but again, dry drills, cold drills. And again, look, when I was shooting competitively, that was a portion of that 10 hours a week. Was 20 minutes every day doing dry drills.
Absolutely.
And I'm not even in the how do you improve your performance?
Yeah.
I'm talking, how does the community support itself? Right. I mean, for years, right, there was forums, right? There's AR15.com, right? Mm-hmm. The question is, are there Discord or Slack groups, that are dedicated towards people, right? Maybe that's a thing to do. you're gonna throw out a Discord, you know. I don't know, but getting people that are able to have a conversation offline, um, and to be able to have those conversations of what's next, what are you doing, right? A channel outside of just the time you see each other on the range.
Yeah.
But it is, it is funny because I was before we started in here, I was talking to Sam in the back about kind of what's next, right? Where you guys where AP and GW is, right? As a brand new, it's like there's that next step. There's marketing. There's this, that, and the other. And I don't know that the small shooting sport community knows how to market itself.
No, and there's parallels to other communities we've talked about before. I mean, scuba diving, the various instruction components to that harp on your local dive shops.
Yeah.
Which are generally mom and pop organizations and some of the biggest money losing organizations around the world.
Oh yeah.
Quickest way to get to $1 million is start with $2 million, open a dive shop.
Yeah.
But same thing for your local gun shop or whatnot. Come in, there's a coffee maker right behind the camera there that you can't see, but come in, chat, learn what's going on in the area, find out what else is out there.
And I think that's one of the differences between the shop here and every other gun shop you go to. Well, most other gun shops are gun stores. And this isn't really a gun shop store. This is a gun shop. This is a performance. You can't come in here and pull a gun off the wall and buy it. And as a result of that, this organization has a slightly different outlook and mindset than, and it's not chucking rocks at Freedom or Superior. And there's other people. They're in business to sell guns.
They got a business model.
And that's what they do. Yeah. And it's different. But yeah, I mean, I think Freedom has. Well, I think Freedom had a coffee shop, and now it's turned into an archery shop.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's most of these places. Most of your gun places are, like Walmart. Come in and get your stuff and leave.
Well, Freedom was going to have a bar, but that didn't work very well.
No, probably not.
No, that didn't work very well.
But you know who does a good, and I'm surprised we haven't seen more of this, is the W3 crowd. So for those of you who are on the West Coast watching this, Women with Weapons, the W3, is a women's shooting group that got started here in Virginia Beach. And they're based out of Freedom Shooting Center. And I like their process in that they bring people in who have never experienced, and they can expand upon that, and they can grow, and they can move in all these directions. And then they're running shooting. So they're doing a good gig on that. I'm kind of surprised that there are no shooting clubs made up of guys.
One of the offices I worked at in the Navy, we used to do what we jokingly referred to as Postal Worker Fridays.
Yeah.
Where if we didn't have anything going on the schedule that day, we'd go in, check the voicemails, check the email, and then we'd all go out to who runs the food stands out on 168 there?
The 757 East the Streets?
No, the produce stands down in Moyock there.
Yeah.
Powell's, he runs a sporting clays place down there. We used to go down there, a couple of Fridays a month when we didn't have something going on. And
that's cool.
We do that. We, pay some of his workers who are sitting there running the stands for us, and we get some fresh produce out of one of the stands at the end of the day.
Yeah, but that's cool.
But yeah, to your point, wish there was more like that.
To that end, if anybody out there wants to have a shooting club or a gun club, and you're interested in looking for a place to sit down and meet that's neutral ground, call Arsenal Performance and Gunworks. Look them up on the internet. Send that guy an email, and they do classes here. They've got space.
We got people.
Yeah, we got people. Yeah, got a coffee pot. Come here and do that. But yeah, I mean that's one of the things that we need to do is. When we were at C2, I talked to guys and we had sponsors for the matches back before the world changed because of COVID. And I knew guys who lived in Norfolk and would drive all the way out to Pungo for Pungo Pizza. And I said, well, is the pizza that good? They said, well, the pizza's really good, but quite honestly, Pungo Pizza as a company supports our shooting matches.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to support them back. It's a little
Right.
bit of guerrilla capitalism going on there, which I found refreshing in this world of, especially at that point in time, where everybody wanted to cancel everybody that had anything to do with guns.
Mm-hmm.
If you were at all pro 2A, then these nitwits in the various media outlets
Mm-hmm.
were calling for your business to get closed.
Oh.
I think as a community, we just need to look around more and be a little more friendly. I guess, I don't know. Be
You're
friendly
actually-
like me.
yeah.
Be friendly.
Be approachable like me.
Cute and fuzzy like a fucking porcupine.
That's right. I'm a fucking cherub. Like
Yeah.
a badger.
Who gets to friendly is fuzzy as a porcupine. That's yeah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna
So-
be insulted, but you can't be insulted by the truth.
It's true.
Facts don't give a shit about your feelings.
You could be insulted, you just can't be offended.
Exactly. Actually, I'm in the United States of America. I have an absolute right to be offended. And you have a right to offend me.
That's right.
Exactly. Right.
Absolutely.
You just can't yell theater in the fire.
Yes. Do not yell theater in the fire.
Right.
That would be bad.
The theater.
That's right. What are you doing? You scream theater. Get a bucket of water. No, I'm trotting the boards, as they say. Ready for my fucking close-up, Mr. DeMille.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, we should crowdsource and remake Smokey and the Bandit. I was thinking about that the other day. I am generally opposed to remaking a movie. However, hear me out.
Yeah, Fiero.
Well, hear me out. We word for word, scene for scene, exact copy, just with different actors. Not better actors, because I don't think you could get better actors for that movie than, Jackie Gleason and Burt Reynolds. But that'd be cool. Or let's crowdsource and let's remake any Mel Brooks movie.
That'd be tough. Maybe you can find sponsorship for that. Maybe.
Dude, we could get Cat Williams to play Sheriff Bart.
So I saw a little snippet of an interview where someone had asked Mark Hamill about some comedy things, and he got into a discussion, and he started talking about Mel Brooks, and he, of course, the producers is his go-to as the movie,
Great
right,
movie.
from Mel
Great
Brooks.
movie, yeah.
But does get into Blazing Saddles through the world, and it was like, and his tagline on the whole thing is Mel Brooks, national treasure. But it just goes back to the understanding of the nuance of humor that we no longer have as a society. You no longer have that nuance anymore to be able to understand, because it's not in your face. So if you say something that's offensive, it's just meant to be offensive, as opposed to understanding the nuance that offensive statement is.
It's kind of the difference between South Park and Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Yes, because South Park is just
Is
plain
in your
offensive.
face.
It is in your face offensive. That's absolutely right? And we've lost that nuance.
Well, prime example. Can you imagine any big event today hosted by Don Rickles?
Probably not. No.
I mean, realistically, Don Rickles couldn't. You couldn't do the Don Rickles. Yeah, you couldn't do the Don Rickles thing today
That was really my first go-to.
because somebody.
Oh yeah.
What is me?
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, that was down the rabbit hole.
That was.
But it was an enjoyable rabbit hole.
I don't think that last part had anything to do with the shooting sport community, other than the fact that
Well, and it could be
we probably have a better sense of
because
humor.
you could dress up in all your gear,
You can.
your matching
You can-
fleck tar and lizard camouflage, and get your Tangfolio and your I don't know.
And I
All
don't
your
care
stuff.
if you want to come out and you want to. That's what you do for your enjoyment.
That's right. Come on out.
Rock on,
Come out.
rock on,
Yeah.
and
If you
And we're
identify
happy.
as an operator,
we're happy to have you come out and shoot. We may make fun of you, but you know, and
your
at the
pronouns
same
are
time,
operator, killer, badass.
and if you want to make fun of me because I'm not dressed up and I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt, then that's fine too. Well, you don't take this seriously. What happens? What happens when the Russians cross the Fulda Gap and you haven't been training in your gear and you just have jeans and your Merrells?
You know, and that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make another homeless rabbit. You know, the freaking
Yeah,
shorts that
I
I've been sending you about freaking CQB and fucking Rafa, Israel, or freaking Kharkiv, Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't that fucking sexy.
No.
That's sexy.
You can be that high speed operator till someone lobs a frag over the fucking wall.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I got news for you. I don't care how much money you spend on your gear. You are not gonna be the Sways.
No.
That's right. I don't care how many radiators you piss in.
No.
You are not a Wolverine.
You are not going to be on the winning side of a frag.
No.
It's reality. But if you've never been in that situation, you don't know that. But you know what? Again, shooting sport community. This is about growing the shooting sport community. You want to come out?
Come out.
Everybody,
Come out, bring your stuff.
that's cool.
Whatever you want. That's the whole reason
You
we
want
created
nothing?
Second Saturday Series is run what you brung, and I don't care what you brung. You can bring a Browning Buckmark
Hey,
or a 54 Pistol.
we did training. One of the guys was like, "Hey, he got some night vision. I don't see the general practicality of that. Sure, you wanna do some shooting with it? Rock on.
Well, now that, you know, the early
Yeah.
GWAT stuff is considered retro, you know, maybe we start bringing out our own personal
It
people shit.
it's you laugh about that. You laugh about that. We did a video with
Matt.
and you know he's got all this stuff and you know I was like got my AR-15 that is 2003 vintage,
Mhm.
right, with the about 46 pounds of because it's just all heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing sexy about it. And then stuff he brought out from Type A, and they're making the retro versions of those, and it's
Yeah.
like
Well, retro
What
10
is
years ago was Vietnam.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
freaking.
I know.
Well, yeah, and the
But it's like you're building stuff that looks like you're building stuff now that looks like what mine is that I've been carrying for 20 years because I'm old like that, and maybe I ought to upgrade. Maybe I ought to put a lightweight set of foregrips on there. I don't know, as opposed to those freaking heavy ass things.
Big Reed 95 pounders.
That's right.
Tactical cheese grater.
Yeah, the one that's designed for you to mount a bipod on it so you can make shots down.
Well, it's funny because he was those were the Night Armament.
Yeah.
Is that he made
Yeah, Night
those?
Armament.
Those, and he was he said apparently they had been looking for those and they can't find them.
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, you could take those off and you could sell them for like this obscene amount of money, and I'm like, that just sounds like work. But it's like,
Yeah, you're like,
they were trying
there's a pain in the ass to take off.
they were trying to find them so they could build these guns, and it's like they can't find them. It's like
Funny.
Yeah.
Cool.
But-
All right. Well, I think that's enough frivolity for now.
Yeah.
So hope you had a good weekend. By the time you see this, the weekend is over. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you remember why we have this weekend. And once again, thanks to everybody who made it possible for us to live in the greatest nation on the planet. Guys, thanks for being out here. And in the event that I haven't said it recently enough, thank you for your service, your continued service. You're a retired guy like me. Cool. I don't think we hurt anybody's feelings this time. We might have. Versus suck.
So I'll throw out an add on.
Okay.
That. It's like when somebody says thank you for your service. How do you receive that?
Well, because I'm an old guy,
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of nod, shake my head, and go about smartly.
Well, my favorite one is thank you for letting me.
I just realized you look like G. Gordon Liddy on steroids. None of you people know who G. Gordon Liddy is, but look him up. Yeah.
I have a whole different story on that. That's actually a story for off tape. But the best line I've heard from somebody, which came from this old guy, was, "You were worth it."
There you go.
There you go. That's, you know what? Because it's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, it
Paying
is.
free service.
It is.
And I've known a lot of people, and they throw it out. They throw it out because it's a throwaway line, because now it's something you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
And generally, for most of the veterans I know, it is not an easy, unless you are full of yourself, right? But it's like, I think that the best comeback for that one is, you're worth it. Right? And I think because it what's the point?
Yeah.
That is the point.
Yeah.
B, deep down inside, when I think about that, I go, there you go. You made me uncomfortable by saying this. I'm going to make you a little uncomfortable by saying you're worth it. Because they got to receive it.
Fine.
Right? So the question is then, how do they receive that? And on the serious note, how do you receive that? So with that, thanks for watching. And
You're
see you next
worth
time.
it.
we'll see you next week.
Today is Memorial Day. So whenever this shows up, shout out to all of those who paid the ultimate sacrifice so that we could continue to live in the greatest nation on the planet. Full stop, period. And anybody who thinks otherwise, it's fucking wrong.